to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the February 27, 2018 edition of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. You know, this is Shelley Overton. I am an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and sometimes you are your own worst enemy. I went up to turn on some lights that I have plugged into the surge protector near my computer 5 minutes before the show, and in doing so, apparently the cord was not put in well for the computer and it disconnected and everything shut off. So I had to reboot my computer, and I was waiting for that to happen, and then in the process I lost everything I was waiting for here. And yeah, so welcome to my Mercury troubles. Anyway, I hope you're having a good week. It's always kind of amusing to see what Mercury will do when I come on the show. So anyway, it's going to be a good week. You're going to just have to wait a second, though, while I pull up all of my chart information, because that was up too, and the computer just got reloaded. It's still in the process of trying to pull up some other applications I have. And so, yeah, it's going to be an interesting day. I honestly don't even know what I have for the show today. I didn't look at my topic. I set it up just yesterday. And so we're going to have to, I think part of it is the upcoming full moon next week, which will be on Monday, and then other things. And also, interestingly, the moon today is at the last degrees of Cancer, and because of that, it is affecting my Mars, and then it goes in during the show. It goes into the sign of Leo, and my Venus is in Leo, so I've got the moon right between my Mars and my Venus today, so it's probably going to be a fun show. I wouldn't be surprised if we have some old friends calling in, and I know we have some callers waiting. I'm just kind of buying time while I'm trying to get to my applications. Right now it's being hung up by my iMovie app. And I'm going to tell you also, if you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, I post videos of my artwork there. All of the shows are also uploaded every week. I'm about 1 week behind on uploading. Usually I don't upload the current show until the next week, so it's about 1 week behind on all of my shows. So, but if you want, you can check that out. And then you can sell my artwork as well. I've got that over there. I'm actually just going to force quit this ridiculous program here because it is taking forever to upload and open, and I don't want to keep messing with you. You're such a patient audience. I really appreciate that. So I'm sorry, I'm still trying to get this particular web. It does reboot everything when I open. Come on, don't mean me. Okay, I'm going to quit that one too and then reboot. That might help. So there we go. I'm sorry. I do apologize. I did it to myself. Anyway, if you want to get a reading in the show, you can call 347-994-3365. And actually, while we're waiting for all, I'm just going to flip over here to my handy ephemeris weekly calendar, and I'll just start talking out of that. So today is the 27th, and we have, like I said, the moon is going into Leo at 42 minutes past the hour. So we'll see if that changes or shifts anything. You know, it's at a very end degree, so the moon's been void, of course, since yesterday at 4:51 p.m. That might have something to do with it. I don't know. But anyway, let's see what else we have here. We have Venus sextile to Pluto today at 5:20 a.m. So, you know, it just passed, but the Venus energy is still in sextile to Pluto, which is a really strong energy around making your dreams come true, because Venus is in Pisces, and that means that she's really sensitive to energies of the other side and intuition and the collective. And I can tell you, I definitely am. I've been feeling my usual headache, and honestly, I'm starting to think it might have something to do with the candles that I burn. I buy these big 3-wick candles, and I tend to get a headache when I burn those. But anyway, I'm kind of wise to that, so I put it on the other side of the room. But I have this other candle that I got from the metaphysical bookstore this week, and I'm still just killing time while my app is open. So if you're wondering why I'm talking about non-astrological things, that's why. It's almost there. Anyway, I got this candle, and I got it to try and calm down my neighborhood, because my neighborhood has a lot of, well, rednecks, for lack of a better word. That's pretty much what they are. They're just a bunch of guys who are back there working on trucks and selling drugs, I think. So I have these guys go by my neighborhood, by my house all the time. And this one in particular has been coming every single day, multiple times. And he drives this big SUV with the windows open in this bass that literally I heard it this morning for a mile and 2 miles after he went past, because the road winds and I could hear him going back through the woods. So I wanted to calm this energy down. And so I went to the bookstore or it's not, well, it is a bookstore, but it has a lot of crystals and herbs and things. And, I think the local Wiccans go there for their supplies and stuff. Anyway, I asked if there was any kind of solution for the energy in my house. And the lady who helped me gave me a candle. It's a peaceful home candle. And she put a bunch of herbs and cloves and nice little things and did a prayer over the candle and gave that to me. And then I got some incense specific for this too. And I haven't had a chance to burn it more than overnight, but I've been getting this headache. So I think that maybe there is some like chemicals coming out in the air from the candle, from the wick, that I'm really sensitive to, or potentially because, of course, we are still in the middle of all this intense energy right now. Still 4 planets going through Pisces and the South Node in Aquarius. So, it could be that as well. And I don't like it because this happened the day before the shooting last, like on the 14th, I was feeling this way. And that concerns me. A lot of inconjuncts right now. We've got Jupiter within 2 degrees inconjunct to Uranus. We have a finger of God with the moon. Actually, this says, it was 10:42. I apologize. It was 10:40, not 11:42. So the moon just went into Leo. Yay. Okay, that's much better. That means the show will go on as opposed to nothing will happen. But at the same time, we do have moon at 6 degrees Leo, sun at 9 Pisces, and Saturn at 7 Capricorn. So there's a finger of God with the sextile between Saturn and the sun, and then the inconjuncts from both the sun to the moon and Saturn to the moon. So again, this is a fire at the midheaven, or not the midheaven, but the peak. The focal point of this finger of God is the moon in Leo. So it is fiery. It is about children. And I'm not saying that there's going to be something that happens with children and fire. That's not what my intent was. But it is fire energy, which means action will be taken. And it's creativity, children, romance, Leo energy, which is also gambling and drama. So I would tend to say what's happening is we are going to see something that comes out that is very dramatic or intended to focus drama, but really it is the expression of more subliminal ego issues. And also because the sun and Saturn are in sextile, which is to me the most cooperative aspect of the zodiac, they are working together, like I said, around dreams and manifesting the structure around them, keeping in mind also that Pisces can be water, it can be flooding, it can be oil and liquids of sorts. And then Saturn in Capricorn is the structure, the physical armature of systems. And it's also government. It can be taxes. So governmental organizations. It is organization. So what Saturn's trying to do is organize the energy. It's organizing the flow. It wants to funnel the liquid and the water and the feelings into some understandable structure and help us with that. And then what's going on is the moon is saying, haha, I'm out here now kind of acting a bit more braggadocio, a little bit more hyperbolic conversation and talking in ways that create more drama. And so we're going to see that really at odds with our our ego flow right now, which is much more about the collective. The sun is right there at 9, Neptune's at 13, Mercury is at 17 Pisces, and Venus is at 20 Pisces. And so there are a lot of sextiles going on to Saturn. So again, trying to coordinate the energy and make the flow mean something. You know, honestly, I was listening to some YouTube. Well, it was a channeled entity called Cryon, and I'll tell you, I think I mentioned Cryon before, but it's a man who channels this energy, and he talks about Cryon energy. Talks a lot about how we are going to develop in our world and move towards kind of the future. And he's talking about the tremendous power that can be harnessed in the tides and the electrical energy that's right there in the tides. And saying you don't even have to go that deep. You don't have to come up with these amazing mechanisms that go under the water and do all these things. You just have to put paddle wheels on the surface, and basically you get hydroelectric power. You just put the paddle wheels on the surface of the waves, or like right there at the shoreline, and waves come in, the waves go out, the waves come in, the waves go out, and like it's a continuous thing, and it's nonstop electricity. I'm just thinking, why has no one thought of that before now? What an amazing idea, and so simple. So that there would be and kind of an expression of this energy of the Pisces, the water, the tides, and the structure, the paddle wheel, creating the energy, creating systems that harness the energy. So that's a really clear example of what's going on right now. So with the additional fly in the ointment of the moon making us want more of the ego kudos, wanting to connect to people for our own purposes, taking a gamble though, I mean, that could be something beneficial. So when the moon gets over to Virgo, it's going to be opposite all this Pisces, but it's going to be in trine to Saturn. That would be a wonderful opportunity to actually manifest that type of that inspiration that's coming in. And that's a really good word for what all of the Pisces energy is, inspiration. So when you say, well, what's going on this week and what is this going to do for us? It's going to give us inspiration. So pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention. I mean, I know, because I've been feeling it. I can't even stay awake past 8:30, it seems these days. 9 o'clock, and I'm pushing it. But that's Pisces. Pisces wants us to go to sleep because, that whole line, perchance to dream, we need to dream. That's where the true information and guidance is coming from, through the dreams. And I had really vibrant dreams last night. I wrote a dream down yesterday. If I had taken a moment out today, I probably could have written another dream. And my dreams are like movies. They go on, and I have written 2 or 3 pages on the details that I get in my dreams. So when you go to sleep, you are not just resting your body, which is also very needed at this point, but you're really re-energizing your spirit. And so I encourage you to not look at it like, oh, I can't get more stuff done, which is the total Virgo way of looking at things, but actually seeing it for what it is, which is a chance to really take it easy, calm down, and, let the universe work for you instead of against you right now. Okay, so I was just looking here. We've got a retrograde coming up, I believe, next month, which is only 3 weeks away. It's going to be the 23rd, actually 4 weeks, the 23rd of March for Mercury. Now, Mercury gets into Aries on the 7th of March, so the very same day Venus goes into Aries. So they're right there next to each other, and Mercury is going to be catching up to Venus. And Mercury, again, is thought, communications, and transportation, and it's electrical energy. So as Venus and Mercury align and get closer, you're going to see a lot of desire for expression of Pisces energy. And Pisces energy is actually beauty, aesthetics, bringing up the storyline, having told the story, the history, and finding the commonality, the thread that runs through everything. So that's the energy that we're going to be experiencing for the next few weeks. And again, Mercury can be car accidents, and it is in square within 2 degrees of square to Mars right now. So just be aware of that, that if you're out and about, I'm telling you, personal experience, you have to be more aware of who's around you, and it's going to probably be more difficult right now. The brain fog is real. I've definitely experienced it. I've seen people do things that were completely disastrous or had the potential for disaster in traffic in this last week. And so just know that you're maybe not going to be as aware as you should be, which means that you need to pay attention to that. You could be distracted more easily right now. That could also mean not driving while this transit's going on. So let's just see how long they're going to be in square. So Mars at 10, let's see, 10, 17. So 17 degrees, and Mercury is right there, 18, 20. They're pretty much exact over the middle of the week. By Wednesday, they're going to be, actually, no, I take it back, Thursday, they're exact. And then Mercury pulls away from Mars Friday. So at least until the end of this week, definitely, don't drive if you can avoid it. As I was telling you about what happened before the show, I plugged in my light. I don't know. I think it did something else when I did that, because I'm looking at it now and it's fully plugged in, but the lights are not working. So I blew out my cute little Christmas lights around my chicken wire board above my TV, which kind of is a bummer, but that's also in alignment with this energy. You've got Mercury is an air energy. It's about electricity. And yes, water is a conductor of electricity, but it's a conductor where, like, if you think about water and electricity, you're thinking about electrocution. You're thinking about, or at least I am, I'm thinking about like your dryers falling in a tub of water, or, like, you don't want Mercury and Pisces, yes, it conducts, but it kind of doesn't conduct in a good way. So Mars is also triggering that conflict with that energy. So just be aware, okay? Be really cautious with your phone. And I know one time I was saying something about phones and, be careful of dropping your phone in the toilet. This also applies this time. During that particular show, when I said that, I got feedback after saying, I can't believe you said that. I did that very thing that week. And so, yeah, here's your heads up. Be careful with your phones. I also used to, I still do occasionally, carry my phone in my back pocket. And when you're in the bathroom and you go to the toilet, I always slap my pocket to make sure I don't have it there, because when you bend, it pops right out. Be careful. I'm warning you. Okay, this is your heads up. Anyway, we've got Pluto at 20 degrees squaring a 25-degree Uranus, which is just going to keep continuing on until Uranus moves into an Earth sign. We're going to have that energy still kind of fading away, but within 5 degrees, which is within my orb of a square. So we still see that kind of conflict. And honestly, when I think about the split between the political parties in this country, that's really a huge part of it. So as Uranus continues to move on, I think that honestly, out of anything in the zodiac, in the sky, is probably going to encourage finding commonalities in our government. So I think I can tell you May 15th, I was doing a reading for a client yesterday about May 15th, and I had the chart for May 15th. It's a pretty intense chart. I'm not going to kid. It's got a lot of intense energy. I'm just going to call it up here and discuss it a little bit right now, because when I looked at it, because I know that there were energies I talked about in the show of the beginning of the year, what's going to happen in 2018. But calling up the actual chart, there is a lot of trine, opposition, and there's one sextile, which is really good between Jupiter and Pluto, but also Mars is squaring the Mercury-Uranus conjunction, which happens when Uranus goes into Taurus. The same time, there's just past a new moon. Right before that, we've got the moon and the sun conjunct in Taurus as well at N degrees. So it's going to be a pretty intense transit on the 15th. And it's about money. It's definitely about money because Jupiter is at 17 degrees opposite the sun moon at 24, and then that exact day it's 27 according to the time I called up here in the middle of the day. But it's going to be an opposition, definitely of the moon first thing in the morning. You've got Jupiter, which rules travel and foreign cultures, but it's also getting to the heart of deeper issues. It's bringing out the psychology of energy around foreign cultures. I think that we're going to see heightened news stories around what's going on. I mean, we already have kind of seen some of that, and definitely Uranus is bringing out some of this. We're getting closer within a few weeks of Uranus moving into that Taurus sign. So we're going to be seeing more I think it's going to be more energy or information around dictatorship and how dictators are treating people in their country. That is a really strong vibe with this. And honestly, you know what I should do? Maybe when I break a couple of minutes, I could look up. I was watching a video on Paris yesterday, and I just love Paris. I want to go to Paris again. But they were talking about Bastille Day and what happened when they overthrew on, I think it was July 14th, they overthrew the aristocrats in France. And you know, the whole idea of Paris and France is very much about a Venusian energy of aesthetics and beauty and luxury, which is part of what really came about with the overthrow of the aristocrats for I can't remember what the day is called. I apologize. But it's July 14th. It's basically their Independence Day for how they look at it, as far as I'm aware. And that's when they beheaded all of the aristocrats. So that energy, Taurus energy, can lead to that, especially with opposition. So this definitely can be a time, May 15th, of seeing that. So I don't know why I digressed into that, probably because of all the Taurus energy and the Earth energy. I guess I was talking about planets transiting to a new position. But anyway, probably getting a little scattered with what I'm talking about. So I don't want to get too much more into any of tangents. We've got, what else? Mars is in Sagittarius. Again, it's about transportation, travel, education, spirituality, and taking action. Right now, we are, even though we have all this wonderful activity with Saturn and Pluto, we have Mars squaring all the Pluto, or all Pisces energy. So we're seeing a lot of what's going on today is kind of water, fire, battling it out, and also being more grounded. We're seeing an energy of emotion coming out and the action wanting to be taken but being dampened and tamped down by all the Pisces energy. So Sun is ego, Neptune is your dreams, Mercury is how you think and what you express to people, and in Pisces that means that it's non-verbal. And then Venus is your love, your desire, and your feminine nature. So all of that is at odds with the guy going down the street with his very loud bass playing. So maybe you have someone in your life who's like that. Anyway, that's the kind of energy we're seeing today. Let's see, Mercury. I just saw the title of my show. So Mercury is going to be retrograding. I think that was what I was going to touch on a little bit. So yeah, so I'll touch on that, and then we'll take a break, and we'll take our calls. And so Mercury going retrograde coming up here in March. So Mercury goes into Aries. When Mercury goes into Aries, like I said, Venus also goes into Aries. That is going to be the time where women rise and come to the voice, because Mercury is our voice, Venus is feminine, moving into Aries, taking action. It's kind of simplified that way, but it's really the truth. So we already see it, and I want to tell you, I've been watching this whole Parkland high school shooting, the emergence of what's going on politically. And the day that happened, we had a moon in Aries. And with Venus and Mercury, obviously, that's going to be even more triggered as those planets get to that moon in Aries that was happening on Valentine's Day. So we're going to really see a lot more women in the news speak the truth. So, and we've already had a lot of that, but it's going to get even stronger. So also on the 16th, we have the retrograde at 16 degrees, 16 degrees, 23rd of March. And that's just after the sun goes into Aries. So Mercury and the sun will be coming back into alignment at the beginning of April, which is April 1st and April 2nd. Mercury and the sun are going to be joined up for a couple of days. And the moon will be at 11 degrees Libra. So there's going to be this strong discussion around what to do and what we're going. And definitely Aries is about gun control. And so that's going to be part of the discussion. And it's going to be increased emotion due to the Pisces sun and until the 23rd, or until the 20th, when the sun goes into Pisces or Aries. Anyway, so it's really this very strong emotional time. And keep in mind that Aries people have Pisces in the 12th, so there is a very deep emotional facet to being an Aries. You do have that subliminal, subconscious chatter in your head and in your mind going on. Like, it's very emotional, and Aries expresses. So whatever's going on emotionally now will be expressed when we get to that timeline, when we get to the sun sign in Aries, sun moving into Aries on the 21st. I looked that up. My daughter's birthday is around then. And so I just wonder, usually I say her birthday is the first full day of Aries, and that is the truth. So it's the 20th at 12:15. So March, March looks like it's going to come in with a mixed bag. It's going to come in with 2 planets and 3 planets, 4 planets in Pisces. So it'll come in like a bit of a lamb with a little hint of lion because moon's in Leo on the first day of March. But a lot of water in there. So again, we've got that finger of God. So it's going to be a mixed bag. I didn't even hear about the groundhog this year. I didn't hear if he saw a shadow or not. I think I heard he didn't see a shadow, so we were going to have an early spring. I don't know if that's how it works. Anyway, let's take a quick break. I will calm myself down a little bit, and then we can move on to the readings for people.
In these days of stress, running around, responsibilities, we all need a little place to go to make it all better. Is that place sports, football, or maybe you like to garden, paint, or just listen to music? Wherever your happy place is, you can find a shirt or mug to reflect that happy place. At myhappyplace.rocks, we have a variety of lifestyle products, including iPhone cases, pajamas, and pet items, all with beautiful, colorful designs, which help us go to our happy place. Stop by on the web for great gift ideas for others and yourself. myhappyplace.rocks. Lenny Pickett appears courtesy of Random Act Records. Check them out at randomactrecords.com.
Okay, welcome back. You are listening to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show with me, Shelley Overton. I am an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I do private readings as well, not just the show, and I would love to do your reading. I do mini readings, which are probably the one that is affordable to most people, I would think. And then I do full readings, which really gets thorough into your chart and goes over what's happening now, what's happening in the past, your year, all that. And then I do birthday readings, which are like a full reading, only you get a discount within 2 weeks of either side of your birthday. So anyway, check that out. That's at astrologerangel.com. And if you want to see my art, I'm going to throw it out there. You can go to shelleyoverton.com, which is SHELLEY Overton.com. Okay, so I just looked up real quick Bastille Day to see what was going on with that. And Saturn was in Aries then. So the Aries energy kind of motivated what was going on. And then also Leo. Of course, Leo is royalty. And Uranus was in Leo then. And then Pluto, this is the key, Pluto was in Aquarius. So I was like, no, the people. It's all about the people. And so honestly, that's pretty much what it was. And what the heck? I've got a Skype call that I cannot get rid of. I apologize. So you're hearing my phone Skype ring. Anyway, so let's get back to our readings. Let's take our first caller as soon as this stops. So it should stop now. Stop. Okay. Oh, well. Hi, this is Shelley. How are you?
Hi.
336. 336. I'm sorry.
Hi, Shelley. Hi, Shelley. Hi, Shelley. It's Karen.
Hi, Karen. Good to talk to you.
Yep.
What's going on?
Good to talk to you, too.
Thanks.
Lots is going on.
Yep.
But anyway, I'm a little late on my my annual birthday reading this year, so yeah. So just tell me what you see going on.
Sure.
There is a lot.
Oh, and happy birthday! I know it's a few weeks late, but that's okay. What's going on? Let's see. Yeah, you actually. Well, it's going to be a good couple of days, I think, career-wise. You've got the moon in Leo now, and of course that's your midheaven, and so the moon's going to be going, across there. In about a day, you'll have it right on your Pluto, and that's so. I mean, I know you do astrology too, but tell me again what you do for money, for a living.
Oh, I'm basically a receptionist for a company that does, government work, compliance.
Oh, okay. Government. Okay. So Jupiter and Gemini in the 8th house could contribute to that. I'm just kind of looking around. Oh, yeah, and you have your Saturn down there in your house of money right now, which is government too. But that's an inconjunct to the Leo energy, which makes it a little bit uncomfortable. Probably today will be uncomfortable. And then, of course, it goes inconjunct to Pluto. Have you been having a lot of stress at work because you have an inconjunct Pluto to Pluto right now?
Oh, Shelley, the stress level for the last year has been off the charts. And I spent a week in the hospital in January.
Oh, no.
And,
I can't remember if you told me that. I think you did. But
I haven't told a lot of people.
Okay.
I have AFib and congestive heart failure. Blah blah blah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, it's and
And that's all that Pisces energy too, for you. I'm telling you, because it's in your house of the heart. Pisces rules your 5th house, so that's liquid. Liquid around the heart would be directly on that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's mom issues. She's had 2 surgeries in the last year. There's sibling issues because I don't get along with either of them. Yes, I think I had shingles last summer. That's brought on my stress. I mean, it's mostly just the world in general. I've discovered that I'm more empathetic than I ever imagined that I was, and it's just Yeah.
It's coming out. I mean, Pisces is going to trigger all that, and you have it all half in your house of home and family and half in your, it's children, but it's also that romantic creative side. So it's your Leo house. So really, I say this a lot, I'm on the radio every week or the podcast every week. So I say it a lot, but Leo wants to, I say the romance, creativity, and children, but really what it wants to do is connect. And it wants to be validated by other people. It wants to know that you're kind of similar to me in this way or that way. So when you have Pisces in the house ruled by Leo, naturally, you're just triggering even more need to connect to people. Because it's Pisces, you're intuitive about people, and because it's the Leo house, you're wanting to relate. So, and I know can sound similar, like you're empathetic, but empathy isn't necessarily relating. Empathy means you may pick up energy from them and not realize it's theirs and think it's yours, or, versus the relating, which is like, oh, you have, a love of shoes, so do I. And so it's kind of like the two together make you really keyed into people right now. So when you're saying you're more empathetic or sympathetic to people now, that's why. A ton of Pisces at that part of your chart. So
okay. Yeah, I'm seeing even Chiron's there too.
Even what?
Chiron's there too.
Oh yeah, I know.
Pisces,
I've been trying to ignore Chiron. I'm sorry, Chiron. I have Chiron at 16
does he make you bristle, like every time you look at Chiron? Do you sort of go, ooh?
I do have views, and Chiron, I did that whole mythology series last year, and I need to go back over Chiron, because Chiron actually has other things to contribute, but it's really, if you think about it, Chiron is kind of like, this is how I think of Chiron. When I was a little girl, I asked my mom this week, she always says how she couldn't wait till I went to school, and I'm like, I asked her this week, why couldn't you wait till I went to school? And she's like, because you cried all the time. And I'm like, well, that's kind of Chiron. I'm not saying, definitely it's Virgo, but Chiron is like the energy where you are hurt and you just, like you feel like, doesn't anybody understand how much I'm in pain? And you can just go on and on about it. But what happens is, like right now we have, Venus is right near Chiron. And so the softer energies near Chiron, and especially with Chiron and Pisces, it's about the emotions. And the softer energies are there to kind of nurture. This is how I feel, because I have Neptune within 3 degrees of my Chiron right now. I have natal Chiron at 16 Pisces. And as Neptune comes in, it's such a gentle energy as far as, it's gentle, but it's also far-reaching, okay? Neptune wants to give universal love. So as that's triggering my personal Chiron, it's kind of like, wow, I'm starting to feel like I really am nurturing the part of my life that has always felt like I've been hurt. And so we can do that with Venus right near Chiron. Yes, women and having sympathy can get hurt right now, but at the same time, we have that Neptune energy going through that sign saying, but it's going to be all right in the end. You're getting nurtured, okay? So the topic is emotions. The topic is women, but it's also the healing coming from that. So, and you have moon at 8 degrees Virgo, which is the moon of the healer. So, you've got that balancing going on, trying to figure it out. So I think honestly that kind of helps you right now, because that Virgo is gonna ground you where you really need it. And again, today's moon in Leo, that fire energy is going to be your midheaven, and as it gets into your house of Reaper, and then comes in the next couple of days to a moon return, there's lunar return, I guess. You're going to have a little more of the grounding where all that water's maybe been making you a little crazy, a little bit sad. And let's see what else is going on. You have, I just feel for you, because you do have Chiron in Capricorn. And so it's about being heard and having your voice heard within the structure of the hierarchy. And that's your work. So you are in line to have a major career shift coming with all this. The joining of Saturn and Pluto in 2020, that could be your retirement time if you want. Neptune is very much about retirement, but it's also about going into your 5th house. It's about finding your joy and your creative side, and not so much the grounded, I'm responsible for so many people, I have to be the responsible one. And you are, as a secretary. I think secretaries don't get enough credit. You really kind of run the show. So kudos to you for what you do.
Yeah, there's going to be my boss is selling the business to one of our associates, and then there's the aspect of retirement. Next year will be 65, and I don't know what I don't know I'd like to stay here, for
Stay
years,
at the job or stay in the
at the
town?
at the job, but I don't know. I don't know if I don't know what's going on. I just don't know.
I will tell you
this year. I don't think. I don't think they're going to be, except my hours might change. But I don't think.
Yeah.
There's going to be.
I
don't
agree.
think I'm losing a job this year.
I think that when Saturn moves into your third house, you're going to, it definitely could trigger you wanting to get your voice out. And with your Sun, Mercury conjunct in Aquarius, if you end up doing more with your astrology, I could see that, especially I could see you writing a book about astrology, getting chills over it right now. And I feel guilty because I'm still editing I have a deadline. My deadline is May 15th. So I'm, but I could see that for you as well. You have the Scorpio rising like I do, and Saturn going into that house and joining up with Pluto. When it joins up with Pluto, it's going to be on your North Node and your Venus. And then Saturn goes into Aquarius, which triggers your Sun in Aquarius and your Mercury, and that's about communication. That's about broadcasting. That's about reaching the masses, and it is very much about independence and not being told what to do. And I think at that point when Saturn hits that, huge for you to move and transition out. That is the time of, that's when you're going to actually, I believe, have more of a purpose. Like, okay, no, this is where I'm going. And the Saturn joining Pluto in your chart is going to really trigger your North Node and your Venus, because they're going to join, I believe it is around 24, 25 degrees. And I apologize, I'm a little froggy today. But when that happens, in 2020, it's like the culmination of okay, now I've done, really it is the culmination of the psychology of why you take ownership of so much, and why you're like the go-to person for people, and you're the one that they feel can solve the problems. And honestly, you know what else I just got? A Dear Abby kind of podcast. That would be really awesome for you. That would be so cool. What do you think of that?
Idea. Yeah, that's the
Isn't
first
that neat? I got chills.
Yeah,
I got chills.
I've actually latched onto.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Oh, even just even if you use astrology, it doesn't have to be all about astrology. It could just be about helping and people calling in with their problems, and that, oh my gosh, I got chills on both legs and arms. I'm totally covered. So that is going to be something that you could do. You could probably do it as soon as Saturn goes into your third house, because that's owning your communication side. And that happens, let's see, Saturn at 10. Well, it almost gets there before Saturn retrogrades. It literally gets to the last of your second house, and then it retrogrades this year. And so it's going to be probably the end of the year. Yeah, it finally gets there in December. It gets there on the 26th, the day after Christmas. So, your Christmas present could be starting the new year out with a new podcast of your making. That would be really awesome. And then the other thing is, because Leo, which is your midheaven and your Leo, is about design work, graphic design and things like that. So you could put some input into how you want the look to be, and the marketing and all that. That would be something you'd probably really enjoy. But that's something you could also start to work on now and just get your ideas together. I'm not saying you can't do it before then, because definitely Mars will be going through your third house also, and that will really be a big trigger for you coming up to, let's see when that happens. It happens in May. May will be and then of course we have that big day, May 15th, which is a trigger for a lot of shift and change. So May could be a really big month for you, coming up with something.
Well, May is when the business is supposed to be sold.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I know the guy that's buying it. I've been working with him for 5 years. But anyway, that's really
you've got the Taurus energy. It's Uranus is in your house of work, so it's going through there. So you'll still have Uranus in your house of work, and I think you'll have more autonomy there, and you might even get some. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because to me, Uranus is all about clearing up the lies, like getting rid of the lies and getting rid of things that are not ringing true, and calling it out. And I know a lot of people say Sagittarius is that.
Sagittarius speaks Sagittarius's truth, and definitely having Scorpio in the 12th house with being Sagittarius, the Sagittarius rising, or even just the sun sign you have, the liminal is Scorpio. So there is that, to me, Scorpio is about truth, and Sagittarius is about just going forward and calling it like it is. So I don't necessarily see Sagittarius as like a truth teller per se. Aquarius to me is very much more about like shining a light on things. So the Aquarius / Uranus energy is bringing things to the light, like shining a light on the roaches, So it's like, hey, you can't get away. Go ahead.
That is so me. That's so me.
Yeah. Yeah. So having Uranus go from Aries into Taurus, that's like it's shining the light on the male energy right now, and then it's going to shine light on female energy, but it's also receptive and it's also finances. So your role may shift and morph into something that may be more like bookkeeper or something more practical that way. And you have Saturn in Scorpio. So Saturn in Scorpio it rules the 8th house, which is taxes, other people's money, stuff like that. And you have Mars in Scorpio in the 1st house with Jupiter right there. And Jupiter will go back over it over the summer. So it doesn't surprise me at all. And I'm telling you, that's probably your future. If you're with a company, you're going to morph more into the financial side, the bookkeeping side, I think, as it goes on. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, my pleasure. Always good talking to you. Yeah, it was. I know. I sit there. I just channel.
Yeah. Well, so, I've always loved your work. So.
Thank you. Anyway. You're very, very flattering and so sweet, and I really appreciate you listening to the show all these years. Thank you so much.
Well, I try to. Today's a work day. I only work 3 days a week, but today's a work day, so sometimes I have difficulty getting here, but I try.
Right. Okay.
I try.
Well, it's awesome.
Okay,
I'm glad
thanks,
you got
Shelley.
me. All right, take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
You're welcome. Okay, let's take another one. I think it's another multicolor. Hi, 202. How are you?
Hey, Shelley. It's Kay. How are you?
Hey. Good. I'm doing well. What's up in your world this week?
Ooh, weepy Neptune. But also doing some really creative stuff, which is really, really fun. Creative stuff for the film that I'm working on. But
awesome.
I swear, with my day job, I really feel like I'm about to have a Jerry Maguire moment. And
you're gonna just lose it and take your fish with you?
I want to. I really do, but I don't have anything else, But I don't know. I just feel like I need to be,
Yep. Well, you got the Vesta and Mars. That's what it is, because Vesta's usually the person who's like the keeper of the information. Like I said, I mentioned my mythology series, which happened last year. So I pardon me for a little plug. If you want to go back and check out the mythology series, it's last year.
I would love to.
Yeah, we did Vesta, and Vesta is like, the ideal Vestal virgins. They're keeper of the information, and they actually, I believe it was in ancient Rome, they were the ones who guarded all the documents of government. So that's their task. That's their way of being. But it's also somewhat associated. I mean, I associate the virgins, of course, with Virgo because I'm a Virgo, and Virgo is the sign of the Virgin. So Vesta definitely has similar energy to being, can be a little bit critical. They can be shrewish. They can be difficult. And and I got chills. I don't know why I'm getting chills for that. But, when you see Vesta in a chart, that's where you may have women who are more critical and difficult, and it's in your 1st house. That means that that person can be you. So you also have, this is amazing today for everyone too, but Vesta at 19 and 3 minutes of Sagittarius, Mars at 19 and 27 minutes of Sagittarius, which means we're right on each other. And so that means that we're going to have difficult women, but you are that person right now. You're feeling that, like, that's what that is. Yeah, you're like, F this.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's like, I want to rally and rant and lose it. Yeah. And because it's also squaring all that Pisces. So Pisces rules movies and filmmaking, and you have Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, at 22 Sag. So your Vesta, your Mars are on your Neptune, ruling that film thing. Like you're like, gah! And I tell you, I over the last couple of years, one of the more difficult aspects is any water sign squaring a fire sign, because it's like all that fire just wants to get going. Can we just do this? And especially because we just had Saturn in Sagittarius, and it was like, taking action, go, do. And then, of course, Saturn was in it. So Saturn was like, hold back. It's like you're driving full out as fast as you can with the brakes on, with the emergency brake on, and it's like, I can't take it. But coming up for you, the positive for you is that you're going to have all that Aries energy coming in fairly quickly. So like I said, I think I said March
on the
1st,
20th.
was it? 20th. Okay. Gosh, why is it so long? No, the 7th, March 7th. That's when Mercury and Venus get into Aries on March 7th. So when that happens, that's like you're in your feminine power at that point. Okay. And you're going to have that. And then also the 20th, the 20th is when Sun goes in there. So Sun is when you'll get the attention. Mercury and Venus is when you're going to take the action on behalf of yourself. But the Sun going into Aries is really when it's the spotlight's on you.
Okay.
So that's going to be, so the month of March, it's like I said, it's going to be a mixed bag between really driving fast with the brakes on, and then getting up to speed and still having a little bit of that. You're going to have Neptune still there, and then you personally have Sun and Mercury in Pisces. So you're going to kind of feel that. Do you have to answer a phone? It sounds like you've got a call waiting.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize my vibrator was on. Okay.
No, it's okay.
That should be better.
That's okay. I don't care. If you have to take a call, go ahead.
Basically, sit tight, kind of, and don't wild out. Don't
today, don't Jerry Maguire, because let me see where Leo is for you. Leo, it's in your house of commitment and also legalities. So right now that Leo moon is, remember what I said about Saturn joining up with Pisces? Saturn wants to build it, and like the combination of Saturn and in Capricorn and then Pisces planets, it's about slow and steady and paying attention to the signs of the universe coming in for you. I mean, like any coins, and like you have these on the other side, loved ones who passed away, angels, spirit, whatever.
Yeah, I do.
It's there guiding you. So pay attention to that, because that's where you are. Like, and this is a difficult thing. The moon being in a fire sign in trine to the Mars today and tomorrow is going to really want you to take that quick emotional action. It's like, no, and it's about ego. It is Jerry Maguire. It's like ego. I can't do this. But at the same time, in that movie, it was like he made that quick action to make things happen, but then he had to believe in himself for the growth, and then the growth came, but it was like that moment of truth and moving into the next thing. Mars is within 3 degrees of your Neptune, and that means wanting to take action on your own behalf and making your dreams come true. You can do that. Let me just see. So your Neptune's at 22 and Venus is at 20. So Venus is square. So there's someone who's telling you, no, it's not a good idea. And then, it's like someone who wants, I'm wondering if it's mom or could it be your mom or a sister?
No, she's like, well, she, in terms of leaving safety, like leaving a day job, absolutely. But the film, she's on board, but she's very much about security. Like if I Jerry Maguire, she would go nuts.
She'd lose it. Yeah. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like the Venus in positive aspect to Saturn is like, no, calm down and take it easy. It's going to happen. We're making your dreams come true. Mars on your Neptune is saying, you don't understand. This is about me. I got to take the jump. I got to jump into the deep end of the pool. And that's kind of what it is. Mars on your Neptune is like, you're jumping in the deep end of the pool because you think you can swim, and you can swim. I can do this. And Moon is saying, yeah, you can do this. Go do it. And then you've got this other parallel energy going on that's saying, but now we have to take care of the tasks that are important to making it work. And, you're getting used to being in the water. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm kind of thinking you may do it because of, you've got
you've got that energy going on with Venus right now. But Chiron, is Chiron going to do anything? Yeah,
like what would
I think
this reception be? Even if it wasn't like, I basically kind of want to say like, because it's kind of a gig where they just want to keep piling up more and more work, and I'm actually not doing anything creative, and I want to say I actually would prefer to go in that realm, but they're not, from what I've heard, open to. You know, I've heard about them saying to other people, like, kind of like stay in your lane kind of thing, but I just kind of want to be like, you know,
I would say
I'm not going to deal with the piling up of work, and if you want me to contribute creatively, I can do that.
Well, you have Jupiter expansion on your Uranus, which is also really triggering you to follow your inner wisdom, because it's now just inside your 12th house, and Uranus is in Scorpio, Jupiter's in Scorpio. It's very deep. It's like passion. And the passion to be independent is right now for you. Mars on your Neptune, Jupiter on Uranus. You're just like, and then you have Uranus on your Venus at the end degrees of home and family. You are just chomping at it to get on your merry way.
Yes, like,
and I would say
passive aggressive people here managing me and trying to just, I'm just like, oh my God.
Well, I mean, honestly, I kind of want to say give me a call privately so we can dig deeper into it, but superficially, I would say Moon is going to trigger you in the next day to like just go and do. But if you get past that, Moon's coming up on Virgo, in which case Moon in Virgo is going to trigger your Mars, Jupiter, your Saturn, which is also working. I know it's opposite all the Pisces, but it is working with Saturn, and Saturn's also working with the Pisces energy, and that could be more productive for you to wait even just 3 days to see where you get with that. And at the same time, it may have less fallout on a large scale, and Mars will still also be approaching your Neptune. So I'm going to say if you do something in the next few days, do it when Moon gets to Virgo, but also you're going to have Vesta in the first house, and that's that shrewish person. So you may just have to deal with Mom. She might just have to suck it up if you decide to do something serious, you know?
Yeah.
It's just going to be part of the story, but you are in alignment to get it done. And Mars goes into Capricorn in late March, right around the time the Sun goes into Aries. So it's going to be okay. Yeah.
Good.
Don't worry. It's going to be okay. You are in alignment to do your thing. So follow your intuition. And if you're, you know, like a lot of the trouble comes when we resist what we know we need to do. And I tell you personally, every fiber of my being wants to move to Arizona right now. And Saturn's saying no.
Are you gonna?
You have to. Yeah. I think next year is when I'm really going to be serious. My daughter has to get out of high school, and that's my focus. But I'm telling you, it's like, if I didn't have to be here for that, I would be in Arizona tomorrow. Done.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. It's great that you know that you want to be there, though.
Yeah, it's just been building since last year, and now with this Mars in Sagittarius, I'm like, yeah, it's all I can do to stay here. So,
oh man.
And commitment. If I channel that commitment into the education aspect, I'm going to be good. You know, I'll be okay. And that's what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, just focusing on getting her educated. That's what I need to do. So, yeah. Anyway.
You'll be here before you know it.
I know it will in some aspect, because time just flies, and I can't believe my daughter's going to be 17 this year. But on the other side, it's like when you feel the drive to do something now, it's like every justification not to do it. It's like, but the universe is saying do it, and I'm like, okay, the universe is saying it, but I know other repercussions. So anyway, I just have to like chant. I chant. I'm Buddhist, so I just chant about it. Like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? But I'm gonna follow my heart right now. My heart's with my daughter. So anyway,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I've got to be here for her. Thank you so much for calling, and I love hearing your journey through this filmmaking. It's going to be awesome. I look forward to seeing you receive an Oscar someday. So, yeah. One day you'll have to tell me your last name so I know who you are.
I will. I'll tell you off there. For sure.
Okay, awesome. But yeah, definitely not Oscar. Okay. Thanks so much. Bye, Kay.
Okay.
Take care.
Thanks again.
Okay. Bye. And that's the end of the show. I'm sorry I ran out of time, and I I will get to your calls next week. Definitely call in early, and we'll try and get more time for our callers next week. Take care. See you next week. Bye.
Thanks for stopping by Astro Energy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com.
To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.